You're watching the 10th annual ETM Christmas Card Television Special.
Well, folks, what a beautiful time it is. As I mentioned, we have many guests here, many dignitaries, and they have come to us literally from all walks of life. The highest caliber of dignitaries literally in the land. Everybody is participating in this program, and I am ecstatic about the times we're enjoying here on this beautiful Ontario's West Coast. In talking about the Ontario's West Coast, with us, we have, Stratford. Wellington Perth MP is with us. Gary Schellenberger, welcome, sir.
Great, thank you, Dan.
It is a pleasure having this gentleman here, and needless to say, all the neighboring MPs are here in this program. And we're all getting excited about the times and certainly collaborating, cooperating together, building bridges together, better roads among ourselves together, all these things. Man, I mean, the times that we're really enjoying today, Gary, are unique. Yourself, talking about the infrastructures and things that have been happening, you've had some of your own.
Yes, we have. It's been a fantastic year. I know there's been a downturn in the economy, but our government has gone forward with our economic action plan, and the municipalities have been getting roads and bridges repaired and brought up to a great standard that we have to have for all our safety. There is a lot of travel in this area. People coming to the Stratford Theatre, people coming to again to Ontario's West Coast here along Lake Huron. It's a very beautiful part of the country, and a lot of tourists come this way. And we're very lucky to be able to appreciate all of this as residents.
Well, you know, sir, I'm going to just maybe elaborate a little bit on some of the relationship we have with Stratford, and certainly Dan Matheson, his worship is a mayor of Stratford. We have an excellent report and collaboration, if you will, and cooperation with Stratford. Well, look at this. Like, for instance, for tourism, there is a new train that had been launched, or at least I'd heard, obviously not enough. I can't really elaborate a whole lot, but the locomotive and the old train that used to be in St. Thomas area. One time, I think that these people were relocating to Stratford, and they want to kind of provide a line between Stratford and Goderich. What a beautiful idea. I think that people who hit up our tourism, for instance, in the area should probably pick up on this, form some committees further, and continue with that portfolio, because that could be an interesting thing. What a bridge builder that would be. But there's more.
Yes, well, there is, but just adding to that point, I live just outside of Stratford in a little place called Sebringville, and,
yes.
And the Goderich-Exeter line runs through Sebringville.
Yes.
And I think it would be a wonderful thing to have. I've always thought that line should be used more for passenger than it has. Well, it's not. It's a freight line right now. And I just think, I know years and years ago, there used to be a train would go, and Sunday morning it would leave Stratford and chug its way to Goderich for the day. People would get off and go to the beach.
Yeah.
They'd swim. They'd do whatever, and they'd be on that train and return at nighttime. And I just think it's that's a tremendous idea. I know a number of years ago, the Goderich-Exeter line, I think when they had an anniversary, and they had some passenger cars in Goderich for the great day, and they wanted to just go a few miles out to the track to to give people a ride.
Yeah.
We have restrictions on that. It's only a freight line. They couldn't even do that. I think there has to be some changes made, or maybe an upgrade a little wee bit to the track. But it's my understanding that Via Rail owns, they're almost like a trolley car. You can drive them from each end. They aren't that big, and they could be renovated to make that trip. We don't even have a bus line anymore, to my knowledge, from Stratford to Goderich. So people come into Stratford and they're on a bus and they're stranded there. I think it would be great if there was another way that that we could use that rail line to promote both areas.
A couple of years ago, we went to St. Thomas. Actually, they closed them down, this particular club. Had a beautiful train, and we talked to the president of the club and everybody. A train with about 7 cars or so, 7 or 8 cars, with a restaurant car in it. Nice. With that old-fashioned locomotive, steamer.
Yeah.
What a way to go. And for tourism, that would have been just awesome. Something tells me, folks, you will see some roundtable talks. Something tells me maybe as a result of these kind of findings and these kind of talks, you might see a committee formed before too long. This may be revised. It's a good idea. Absolutely good idea.
Yep.
It not only build bridges, but you know, what this will do for our tourism here, what it'll do for Stratford, what it'll do for Goderich and all the places in between. Whoa.
Well, I know Stratford, the Stratford Theatre is quite involved, and there's a special run comes from Toronto every year, from Toronto to Stratford. The people take in a play in Stratford, have a bit of social time, and they get back on the train and they go home that evening.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous thing, and
You
it always
bet.
sells out.
Yeah.
So these things I think we have to work on a little wee bit more.
These people brought this train once into this community, and guess what? That one single attempt, this was some years ago, $100,000. That is what they made in just fares and just bringing that train into this riding here. And what an experience that has been. And that traction that is brought to the community was just phenomenal. It really pays to go back in history and dig up some of those experiences we once had and try and relive some of that beautiful history. Because I know for one, I would enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I know I've spoken to different people. My first train ride was from Sebringville to Stratford, all of 3 miles. And I can remember Mrs. Dempsey, who lived across the road, took my mother and me and my 2 sisters and their two kids, and we all got on the train in Sebringville, bought tickets, got on the train, and then went to Stratford. Meanwhile, she drove from Sebringville into Stratford and met us at the station there. It was a tremendous thing for young people to have that ride, and but I think what we have to remember is that the Stratford Shakespeare Theatre is a tremendous tourist draw to this area. And it's not only to Stratford, it's to Huron County, to Bruce County, to Middlesex, like London, Waterloo. It's just a big draw. And when people come to the Stratford Shakespeare Theatre, they don't just come to one show mostly. They'll come and then they'll stay in the area for some time. And I think that is a thing that we all have to look and work together. There used to be a time where everybody was jealous of what they had, and they would try to put a circle around it and keep it. But now what we want to do is let everyone have that opportunity to join in and work things together. Again, the train, as we talked about it, how it can bring Perth County and Huron County together. How we can help the environment by the train travel rather than automobiles driving. It would help with parking in a lot of these places. And but I think it's a tremendous draw. It's a tremendous thing working together, all our municipalities around in this area. Yeah.
Well, we are enjoying the season, and although we have some beautiful plans for this year, as you can tell,
Yes.
we will be probably starting up some roundtable talks and maybe giving some ideas to some of these committees that will form around this idea, and you will see something beautiful blossom out of this. Because why? Because it can. Because these writings here are all about possibilities. People's cup here, at worst of time, as I said before, is half full, not half empty. And you know something, business and certainly the politicians that see the potential in all this for all families and jobs and a better future for all will quickly realize potentials in all this, how good this can be for our tourism and for our other businesses in the area that'll just take off places they've never been before. Christmas is here. We're enjoying, we're reminiscing. Rather than reminiscing any further, we're taking a lot of time to get there.
Yeah.
It is time to issue your greeting, sir, to your constituents, to the coast, to everybody in Canada that is watching.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Dan. And I have to say that I and my family, my wife Judy, and my whole family would like to wish everyone in Perth Wellington, everyone in Ontario, and everyone across the country a wonderful Christmas, hopefully spent with family, and may you reminisce and think of some of those people that have maybe have gone up before us. I know at Christmas time it's a great time for me to think back to my grandparents, what we used to do when we were kids at Christmas time, and hopefully we can portray some of those great events to our grandchildren. And so I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.
And Gary, to you and Judy and all of your family, a very Merry Christmas.
Okay.
And have a happy and blessed New Year.
I will. We will.
All right, all right. Thank you for coming.
Great.
Folks, we've got tons more. Stay tuned for more. A lot more coming up.
Hello from Exeter Flowers. It is my pleasure to bring you greetings from Exeter Flowers, and on behalf of my staff, Kirsten, Carrie Sue, and Tammy, and my family, I want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and thank you for shopping Exeter.
Action Healthcare in St. Mary's and Stratford, providing solutions for those with everyday physical challenges. Would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Hey, all right there, get along here. What are you going to do for it? Oh, hi everybody. I'm Richard Laub, auctioneer from Clinton, Ontario. On behalf of Richard Laub Auctions and all the staff that work at Richard Laub Auctions, I would like to wish everyone on the west coast of southwestern Ontario a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hamilton's Machine Shop in Exeter, providing welding and general repairs. Would like to wish all in the community a very Merry Christmas and Happy and safe New Year.
I am Les Wernham from Pints Unlimited, your custom winemaking facility at 190 Thames Road East in the north end of Exeter. We want to thank our many customers who have given us their business over this past year. And on behalf of my wife Ann and the staff at Pints Unlimited, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a happy and a prosperous coming year. May God bless our troops who are serving in the Middle East. Our prayers are with them and their family as they celebrate this holiday season. Thank you.
Upper Class Pawnbrokers at 437 Main Street South in Exeter. Would like to wish everyone in the community a very Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year, and invite you to check out the many items you can save on this Christmas.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a time we're enjoying. Christmas is here, and needless to say, look at the program. You will be enjoying more and more guests yet to come. It is my pleasure to introduce our neighboring MP, a very strategic MP. Last year he could not be with us, and this year he has taken off his busy time to indeed join us on a set. Mr. Bev Shipley, MP from Lambton, Kent, Middlesex.
That's correct, Dan.
Is here. Thank you for coming, sir. Merry Christmas to you too, and
Well,
yours.
and to you and your family, Dan. And again, it's just always great to come up and be a part, and we have great discussions before the cameras come on.
Right.
But this truly is one of those great times of the year where we think about our community, and we particularly think about our families, and that we actually, even in through the times that we've got in Canada right now and around the world, we're very blessed to be in Canada and to have all the things that we take for granted as we think back in November of Remembrance Day, the blessings that we've got because of what our veterans and those that have gone before them have given us in this great country. So we're very, it's just a pleasure to be here, Dan.
Well, it is an extreme time of the year, needless to say. And we, again, folks, as you can see, we're flooded with dignitaries. And these dignitaries have opened their hearts to you this time of year in really expressing their gratitude for you trusting them. And I know that Bev's got a lot on his plate in his riding too. But we are building bridges with every riding around us here, and he is a strategic riding to us, literally. And it is so nice. It is pleasure rubbing shoulders with this gentleman and his people, for we have learned to be good and kind to one another. And it is pleasure to share you here in this program.
Thank you.
Program is being literally syndicated all over, and there is no telling how many Canadians will enjoy this program. And I am so proud with people like you who are so committed to their constituents and to Canadians all over with endeavors. I know we talked off camera about a great many things, but I'm going to ask you to summarize in just a few sentences the year. I know that's somewhat difficult, but give me a summary of some of the times we have gone through and what is there to expect yet in the new year.
Well, that's a pretty big order for, and then you say in just a couple of sentences.
Yes.
You know, Dan, in politics, we don't do many things in 2 sentences, but it has been obviously a challenging year. We have a number of people that have been laid off in my riding because we have a number of auto parts. There's been struggles in particular areas in agriculture, and certainly up in my riding and in Huron, there are, you know, we depend so much on agriculture. And in saying that, things are in, that's been our challenge. We have in agriculture, which is, as I mentioned, the main thrust, changes are happening, obviously in some sectors. In the pork industry and the beef industry, it's very difficult. And so we continue, you know, and I give credit to the organizations that we deal with. And we've dealt well with them in the beef industry and the pork industry. They've been strong coming forward and being persuasive, and it's great to be able to support them. And so I think we're coming through some of those things, though it may be hard to see it just in the immediate plate in front of us. The economy to the rest of us, you know, when I look across Canada, our unemployment rate varies in that 8.4, 8.6. That is high, considering, though, when you think about it, we have 5% across Canada just about at any time. So when I look at some of our neighbors to the south, that when we were running 5 or 6%, they were running 3%. We're running now 8.4 to 8.6, and they're running over 10. I think in Canada, because we have, I think over the years, we've structured a strong financial system, and we've not let that go, regardless of who's in government. And I think that's been important in terms of our strength. So it's, you know, we're going to move ahead. There's all indicators that the economy is started to level off, and certainly in some aspects of it have started to get stronger. That's good news. But I think we have to remember that we're one of those players. Actually, in the world, we're a smaller player, and that it is still very, very fragile. And but we want to look at it with optimism. And we want to encourage people that as we move ahead, we've done a number of things with the blessing of all parties to move ahead in training and how we're going to keep people on if they're unemployed, how they can get access to some funding, because these are extraordinary times. And so, Dan, I guess just in that short one, I'm very optimistic, particularly about Canada. I'm very optimistic about our base in terms of industry, small businesses, and agriculture. They will lead us back out of this, and I'm very sure of that.
I want to thank you, sir, on the collaboration and cooperation you have shown. Certainly with your government for some of the endeavors and some of the infrastructures we have seen on Ontario's west coast. We have seen some record monies well invested, and I think our families have been encouraged by some of those endeavors and some of those experiences we have seen, Bev. Having said that, I also want to acknowledge one thing. We are still, folks, by and large, a leading nation, one of the best sources to invest in when it comes to our financial status, and certainly keeping our financial house in order. We look very attractive to the global economy, and exemplary country to take notice and follow. That all stems from a good leadership and some of the good decisions that have been made. I want to thank you for that. It is the time of year when we're mindful, and why not right now? Because we have enjoyed some of the blessings, if I can call it that, and some of those strategic investments, infrastructure investments that government has dipped in and taken a chance on this very riding and this very community and this Ontario's west coast. And today we're better for it, and we are enjoying the spin-offs. Bev, to your government and to your neighboring MP and your riding, thank you for being a friend, and thank you for being with us here. Now, as for greeting to you and your constituents, go ahead and give me your best.
I just want to touch quickly, if I can, just on what you said. One of the things, there has been an extraordinary amount of money that has gone out into infrastructure across Canada. One of the things that I'm never shameful about is that us as MPs and with our counterparts, our MPPs, our provincial members, have worked hard, and there is a proportionate amount of money of our taxpayers' money in my riding and here and in the southwest or in the western part of Ontario, that their taxpayers' money, their tax money, is coming back into their community. And they are seeing some benefit of that by having local people employed, local businesses that have not had to lay off, and in fact, in some that have been able to hire additional people on. And so it is actually great to see a proportionate amount come into our local and rural communities, something that maybe always hasn't, because they always tend to focus on these large urban areas, and I respect, we have to have those, but I'll tell you, our local rural areas are no less important. And
that's so nice to hear.
And they are,
our time has come.
Well, it's their tax dollars the same as everyone else.
Right.
So I just want to take this time, Dan, and thank you, particularly for allowing me to come on and be a part of this show. I also want to say that it's so good to have our small community television stations around to be able to do this, because they are part of our community. They're part of what our families are about. We want to know what's going on locally, and so I thank you for taking this initiative. And I also just want to say to all the viewers out there, whether they're in my riding or not, this is a time of the year where we step back, make sure that we take some time to spend not just with our families, but within our community. There's so many people that I'd like to thank that volunteer and help those that are much more disadvantaged than you and I are, Dan. And it's the volunteers within our communities that really make things tick, quite honestly. Governments can't do it all, nor should we. It's the real people on the ground. And so to you and your family, my family, Barb and I, and we just wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you. Bev Shipley, MP for Kent, Middlesex, Lambton. Thank you for being with us. It was a pleasure having you, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. More coming up right after this.
Just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. A white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may your Christmases be white. Days be merry and bright. Oh, hear those sleigh bells ring. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
And having some large centers around us, London fits a category perfectly. And our neighbor to the south, Her Worship, Mayor of City of London, Anne-Marie DeSico, issues us this greeting.
Dear friends, on behalf of the City of London, I extend warm greetings for a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the many ETM television viewers along Ontario's West Coast. It is indeed a delight to share in this 10th annual Christmas Card TV special. Through the years, ETM Community Cable has proven to be an innovative television station by providing interesting civic insights and serving as a valuable and refreshing resource for area citizens. Through these creative efforts to share information with a broad regional audience, ETM enhances the way residents communicate and plays an important part in community building. We wish ETM great success in its ongoing endeavors and wish everyone in the station's viewing area peace, joy, and much happiness throughout this holiday season. Sincerely, Anne-Marie DeSico, Mayor of London.
Mayor DeSico, thank you for those kind words and thank you for your greeting. Very Merry Christmas to you, to Londoners, to all of your staff and everybody around you. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you too. All right, folks, we have a lot more of a program coming up. Stay with us.
Still many more greetings and guests to come on the 10th annual ETM Christmas Card Television Special.